Hi guys, I'm David with Media Unlocked, and today we're going to be talking about the Crane M2, which is a super small gimbal for smaller mirrorless cameras, point and shoot cameras, and of course your smartphone. So that's the really cool thing about this gimbal is that you're able to put multiple types of cameras on it and balance it super quick. Now if you guys want to learn how to balance it, it's super easy. Just hit a card over here to my left, your guy's right. It will pop out and you can go click and see how to balance this gimbal in like less than 2 minutes, really less than a minute. It's that simple. So we're not going to dive deep into the menu systems and how everything works on it. If you guys really want that, feel free to go check out some videos on YouTube. There's a bunch of people that have already made those reviews. However, I really just want to talk about how I used it and what I would use it for, and some of the things I really like about this gimbal. Now it is $270, so it is going to be a little bit more than some of your other small gimbals, but this has a really powerful motor in it, and it does a really good job working with 3 different types of cameras. Now if you want to know if your camera works well with it wirelessly, just go to their website and you can check the compatibility. My Sony 100RX version 4, the Wi-Fi does not work with the gimbal, so I was not able to actually physically test out the Wi-Fi, but watching other people's videos, it looks like the Wi-Fi works pretty well. It maybe drops out every once in a while. So let's just go over some of the stuff that I really like about it and how I used it. And then of course at the end of this video, we'll actually put in test footage, so you guys can actually see the footage of me shooting it and what it looks like. The only drawback really to this gimbal that I found, that when it's in sports mode and you're moving super quick, even if the camera is properly balanced to the T, I find that there is a little bit of shake, but that is me going at full pace, going like this and this and this. Mainly if you're moving like a crazy person with the gimbal trying to keep up with some sporting event or something like that, there can be a little shake if your subject's moving and you're moving. So that's the only really big drawback to this gimbal that I found. And again, you've got to be moving fast. When I was not moving, I was moving at, let's say, 75% of my full speed running. I wasn't getting any shake. It was when I was going at like 100, 110% as well, trying to swivel it back and forth and up and down to capture the shot I'm going for. So I will add in a little bit of that so you can see what the shake looks like, but you can also fix that in post as well. But far as the gimbal is concerned, I think at the price range, it's pretty nicely priced depending on what type of camera you're using, or if you have multiple cameras that will fit on this, it's fantastic. One of the cool things about it, it does take USB-C, which is newer technology and allows for faster charging, which I really like. Right here, you get a nice styrofoam case. I'm not a huge fan of these styrofoam cases for gimbals. For the smaller one, it's not too bad. I like Zhiyun Crane's original Crane 2 case with the zipper and everything. I think that's probably one of the best gimbal cases that I've come across, and I've tested a ton of gimbals out. So in there you get your USB-C, you get a little, I guess, wrist strap, and probably one of the more important things right here. For people that are going to be using smartphones, you do get a smartphone piece. So, boom, boom. It's awesome. And then, of course, the gimbal fits in here nice and tightly and neatly. So let's just dive in to the menu system a little bit. We're not going to go crazy deep into the menu system. So first thing I want to do is I want to go on and turn my camera on. Now, I've already pre-balanced it. As you can see, the gimbal is on. And as you notice, I had to turn my camera on, and when I turned my camera on, it extended the lens. So even without the lens being extended, it was still holding, the motors were still keeping it balanced, even though technically speaking it was completely out of balance, so I turned the camera on. It does have a 7-hour battery life. I think the most we used it was maybe 3 to 4 hours at one time, and so we didn't even come anywhere near testing that full 7-hour. It recharges super quick via the USB. You do have a screw piece on the left side right here, and so just to mention, I screw in the piece that connects to the gimbal's tripod, or the gimbal's mount piece, because that piece does not stay in the mount and it could be easily lost. So if I don't have a camera connected to it, it gets screwed into the side right here. Now we're in PF mode, which is pan and follow mode. So again, you'll pan and you'll follow. It's simple, easy mode. We'll hit the mode button again. L is lock mode. So everything's going to be locked, and it's literally just as you move the camera Everything's going to be locked. As you guys can see, the camera is locked. Moving on, POV mode. This is your POV mode. Very simple. And then we're down to PF mode, which is your pan and follow. Now, if you want to go into sports mode, which is what we mostly use it for at the skate park or any kind of fast moving objects, it does a really good job of being really adaptive to that. So you just hit this twice and you go into go mode, which is going to be your action mode, which works fairly well. Like I said, if you're in go mode and you're moving too fast, you get a little shake. And if you're definitely not in go mode and you're moving too fast, you're definitely going to get a little bit of shake. Again, this is a really small gimbal, so that's going to be expected a little bit, where the larger gimbals, you're just not going to notice it. And the larger cameras do have functions that these smaller gimbals don't have, or the smaller cameras don't have. So you've got to keep that in mind as well. All right, so if we double tap again, we go into vortex mode. So as you can see, this is a vortex. It just shoots straight up like that. Pretty much back to the beginning of when you first turn the gimbal on. Make sure you're out of the V mode. So we'll hit menu. We'll go to pan and follow mode. And then what we'll do is we'll double click this trigger up front. And when you double click that trigger, it is going to set everything back to the beginning, which is great. And you can do this at any time while you're shooting. If it gets off tilt or anything happens, just double click that front button right here. It's fantastic. It's going to take you right back. Now, if you triple click, 1, 2, 3, and you've got to be pretty quick, 1, 2, 3, you're going to have like your selfie mode. So you hit this button 3 times, and if you hit it 1, 2, it's going to go back. Again, this button is not as responsive as I'd like it to be. So if you do it too slow or too fast, you've got to get the timing just right. And it's taken a little bit of practice to get that. But as you can see, we go from selfie mode to just your regular setup mode. If you do have the wireless functionality, you do have the option to record and take pictures with this record button. Your USB-C goes in over here on the left. You do have a lock mode in the front of the camera. So if you need to, say we want to turn, let's go on and turn this gimbal off. So we're gonna turn it off. And we want to lock everything into place. Again, I'd have to readjust, I'd have to rebalance this, but mainly what the lock mode is, you turn the lock mode on and it will lock everything into place, which is really nice, so you don't have all your axes just going all over the place, which is very, very nice. Now, however, one thing to mention though is don't leave it locked. Don't leave it locked if you're going to be using it. So unlock that, then balance, then turn the gimbal on. So what we can do is we can turn this back on. As you see now, it's balanced now that I turn it back on, and then we'll turn this back on and we'll look at the menu system really, really quick. And we'll talk about a few other things and give you guys an idea of something that you're interested in picking up. Of course, if you do, there's always a link in a card right here or at the end of this video, and we do get a little commission, and that does keep us going day in and day out. All right, so we do have a menu button here. Again, as you can see, if I need to go into something like the motor with this specific setup, it would be an in between a low and a medium. So depending on what I want to set it to, I just have it at low right now. And then you have Wi-Fi functionality, history, joystick, and about. Again, if you need to go into something, you just pan this side by side. Be careful with this. This button can pop off in your bag and stuff. So just make sure that's always secure. It did pop off once on me during a wedding. Mostly I use this for action shots and as a fourth camera for my wedding so that I could get a nice smooth pan. While I had 3 other cameras capturing a ceremony, I would use this camera and this gimbal to walk around the ceremony and get some really cool shots while I had the 3 other cameras going. So this was a nice backup to a backup shot that I've really, really enjoyed having. So moving on, let's see what else we need to talk about here. We've kind of gone over everything that I really use this for. Of course, we will put some footage at the end of this video so you can see physically how the gimbal operates. I will put one piece of footage in so you can see how shaky it can get. Again, I realize that the shake comes because I'm putting so much power and effort into shooting with the gimbal and moving that it's almost inevitable that you're going to have some shake. Where bigger gimbals are heavier and they have heavier cameras that are going to handle the shake a little bit better. However, the Sony does have this steady shot, which is really, really nice. So even with that turned on, you did get a little bit of shake, but I'm not really blaming the gimbal because I feel like I was pushing it too hard, because it is a smaller, weaker gimbal compared to like a Crane 2, where I'm able to run with my action a lot easier and everything's a little bit heavier, so it's not going to capture that shake. Far as connecting it to via Wi-Fi, I, however, did not connect it via Wi-Fi because the Sony RX100 version 4 is older technology. The reason I had gotten it to test out was because it was one of the better higher end point and shoot cameras I can fit in my pocket and get amazing quality video and pictures, and I wanted to test it out, so I grabbed one, and some of the technology is just a little outdated, so it doesn't connect to the M2. However, if you guys go to Amazon, there'll be a link down below. There'll be a link at the end of the video. Go check it out. If it is something you are interested in purchasing it, using those links do help us keep making these videos day in and day out. And we do appreciate any time you buy something through our links. And of course, a link at the very end of the video. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave a comment or email us at mediaunlocked101@gmail.com. And we will do our best to answer any questions or comments that you have. I know we didn't like dive into a super deep 30-40 minute video like I have with my past gimbals, but I feel like there isn't a lot to say, and what's already been said, there's already some really good videos on the YouTube market where you can go watch those. I just wanted to kind of go over my test footage, how I used it, and my honest to God thoughts on it. I used it with a smartphone a few times. However, I just, as a professional photographer and videographer, you know, the smartphone, the only time I'm really using that is when I need it to pull it out of my pocket and get a shot real quick. I'm not going to take the time to set it up on a gimbal because I have a better option than using a smartphone for my video footage. But in a pinch, it will work if I had to use my smartphone for a specific shot or something like that. Again, that's why I have both my Sonys over here, and I absolutely love them. So this is a great little gimbal at $270. Check it out. Again, guys, we'll catch you next time. This far. If you want to check out our newest video, it will be right here. If you want to check out the product, it will be down here. If you do happen to click on it and purchase it, it does give us a little bit of commission, and that helps me a lot keep making these videos. And of course, guys, right down below, go on and leave a comment, hit that subscribe button, follow along. We'll catch you next time.